I, someone who's only been a WWE fan for 1 week, went to my first show last night, WWE Bad Blood, and it might have just made me a fan for life. In just 8 days now, over 1,000 of you and over 4,000 on TikTok have tuned in to be a part of my journey as I document getting immersed as a wrestling fan. Little did I know when my best friend, who's been a long-time wrestling fan, got us tickets that it would be the most thrilling week of both TV and live entertainment in my life. Atlanta, Georgia, the city I was born in, the city I was raised in, and the city I still reside in. This is my home. And this building, State Farm Arena, I basically grew up in, all the way back to when it was Phillips Arena. But instead of attending Hawks games or concerts, Saturday night would be my first time in attendance for a wrestling show. An all-new experience for me, and I went in not knowing what to expect. The entire week leading up to this, I documented my initial impressions of WWE and got myself as familiar as possible with wrestling, different wrestlers, and storylines. Like I said in these videos, my main priority was not just to binge watch as much wrestling content as possible in my free time, but to watch the 3 shows that make up WWE so I'd be up to speed and not go into my first show, a pay-per-view show, completely lost. And as many of you have seen, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown could not have possibly made a better first impression on me. And after the completion of each episode, my thoughts off the bat were, if this is what wrestling is like every show, every week, I might be more hooked than ever. And then my experience shifted from the TV to the arena. And every positive thing I already had to say about WWE was cranked up to 10. We got to State Farm Arena about 40 minutes in advance, and the turnout was already crazy. The line was wrapping the building. This was my first impression of wrestling fans, and they were hype and ready to go. Like I said, you could tell it was going to be packed from outside alone, but apparently this show broke WWE's arena attendance record, so I was hyped to be a part of that in just my first show. Our seats were terrace level in State Farm Arena. It was behind the stage. Such a dope view of the ring. I wish I could have seen the wrestlers like when they came out, and also the screen was messed up and it got on some people's nerves throughout the night, but still, these seats were fire. I know what everyone's wondering in terms of my thoughts on the difference between watching wrestling on TV versus seeing it in person. Off my limited experience of just 3 episodes under my belt and a few YouTube binges, I could say it's a similar dynamic for sports fans. Watching the NBA or NFL on TV is a completely different experience than seeing it in person. The fireworks are louder, the music hits more, the moves honestly look more painful in person. There's that added live environment factor that makes things feel more alive versus on TV. You miss things in the broadcast, you can't always see the nonverbal things that are going on, so it's an experience I'll compare and contrast for a while until my next show. There were 5 fights on the show, with my favorite being the first one in the main event. The first one between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre was so violent. I've seen some brutal clips from WWE this week through YouTube or things you guys have tagged me in on TikTok, but this was a different level of violence. Seriously, these guys were throwing each other into the cage, hitting each other with tools, slamming each other on the tables and the stairs. I was not expecting all of that, but I will never see wrestling the same. You could hear the impact of the things they were doing to each other. Everyone seemed super into it. The crowd was loud through the whole night pretty much. Next fight was for one of the women's belt, and it was chaotic. It was basically the champ versus the underdog, but had a huge interruption in it. I still don't know this girl or why she carries that case, to be honest. Obviously, people who have been fans for way longer than me know the significance and what it means story-wise, but I was just a little confused. Still, the interruption played into how the fight went. After that, Finn Balor and Damian Priest had their fight, and dude, Priest is just too much of a beast for Balor and his henchmen. Like, bro was getting stomped on and still chokeslammed him for the win. Like, bro even tried to cheat and still lost. That's just sad. This fight has some good action, my third favorite of the night. Then this was cool. Triple H, who you guys told me runs WWE now, introduced a whole new championship belt. And dude, this looks fire. It's huge, gold with diamonds. Like, that's hard as hell to me. And then he got interrupted by the World Heavyweight Champion. And why was he not fighting on the show, by the way? Bro was a menace because he was talking crazy to a legend in the crowd and they almost got into it. It was wild. The champ got jumped by Bro from Monday, who's trying to take his belt. This whole thing had me going crazy because it was just so much security and just anarchy for real. Then the other women's fight was comedy. Y'all were telling me this is like a love triangle apparently, and Bro had to be locked in a cage for some reason. Me and my friend were joking because could he not just have like been banned from the arena? Like why did he have to willingly let them force him into a cage like an animal? It was crazy though because he like fell out of it at one point and I could have swore Bro like fell to his end. Like we all gasped in there. Loudest unison gasp I've ever heard in my life. Then Rhea Ripley, the goth girl, she was like pinataing him with a stick, like bruh. And then there was chaos in this one too as some even bigger girl came running out of the crowd and just attacked her, and then it was over. Again, still learning, so I don't really know about all the moving parts in this storyline, but more chaos. And then the main event. The crowd was going crazy for this. They were booing Solo, and also you guys told me I've been pronouncing his name wrong. I don't know why I was saying Sikoa, but it's definitely Sikoa. But they were booing him like crazy, and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns' receptions, bro, they about shook the building. I didn't even know Cody Rhodes was from here either, bro. Like, it was fire seeing him get love in his hometown. This fight was a struggle for both sides. Cody and Roman would dominate, and then Solo and Jacob Fatu would be beating them down for a long time until Cody and Roman made a comeback. It was just back and forth. I think it was Jacob Fatu did like the craziest move I saw all night outside of the Hell in a Cell fight. Cody Rhodes actually jumped on him and broke the table where like the announcers are. Then the dudes who won the tag team championship came out to help Solo and Jacob win. Like I said, there's so much cheating in wrestling. But then a dude came out the crowd in a hoodie and took them out, and it ended up being one of the Uso twins. Sorry, I'm still trying to tell them apart. And then just when you thought the show was over, my jaw completely dropped. I thought the show was over, bro. I was not expecting The Rock. The whole crowd was going crazy, bro. I was in shock. I thought he was going to go down there and maybe fight, but he seemed like he was just hinting in the future that he'd take out Cody, I'm guessing, because he's related to Roman and Jimmy. I don't know. They hit us with a cliffhanger, but he was insane. All of this in just my first week as a wrestling fan and my first show that I've attended. I think my favorite part, though, about being live in attendance, though, had to be the spectacle. I said in my first video that what I love about wrestling is it has the grand spectacle that sports have and larger-than-life characters that comic books have. And you could feel that live. Bro came in with his girl in a drop-top whip. That was too tough. Cody had a whole band play him out. Now, I will say, this sounded so much better live than the clips I've seen online. But I knew when they played it live that it wouldn't sync up well at all. If you guys remember, I'm a musician and I have experience with acoustics and live environments, and although sound waves bouncing up the arena while trying to match the music by ear over a sea of notes and noise, it's just not going to match up. It was cool live. I knew it'd sound bad on TV. Roman had an orchestra play him out too, but to be honest, I couldn't even hear them. But still, it makes things feel epic. I'm a new fan, and I got a full sense of the characters just from how they walk to the ring. And that really helped ease me into the stories and dynamics throughout the night. So to sum it up, my experience going to my first WWE show was an A+. Anyone who scoffs at wrestling do not understand the athleticism, professionalism, and to be honest, the pain endurance these guys have. And this show, just like the rest of the week, taught me that in wrestling, you never know what could happen next. At the end of the show, the hometown champion Cody addressed the crowd and said something bigger could be on the way in the future for Atlanta. I'm hoping it's a WrestleMania. We could do it at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It'd be crazy. But regardless, when WWE returns, I will be in the building. This entire event was life-changing. And to anyone who was wondering, it made me a fan for a long time. I started this journey as a new wrestling fan last week, but it doesn't end just because I made it to my first show. I have countless matches you guys told me to watch. I still have many wrestlers to learn about, and straight up a long road ahead before I'm no longer a novice fan. I've reached hundreds of thousands of people in just this first week. I want to thank y'all for being a part of the journey, and no joke, this is literally just the beginning for me. It's Tiao, and make sure you're subbed because the next video is just as much of a banger.